Yeah, what we doing now? It's Neeshasnetwork, y'all.
It's Neeshasnetwork, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah.
Connect the vibe.
It's Neeshasnetwork, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
Connect and feel the vibe. Connections make you feel alive. We do this every day. Let's put your business on display. Network, let's heal and pray. It's our love, we here to stay. Trust in God, he'll lead the way. We on right now, no need to wait. Let's go. It's Neeshasnetwork, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
Well, hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. We're here again with Neeshas Network with another insightful moment with me, Neesha, and I am joining you from Chicagoland area. A lot of people always say, well, where are you streaming from? I live in the south suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. I appreciate the people that watch. Sometimes you don't know who's watching just because the views say one thing, you have no clue. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that subscribes and watches Neeshas Network on YouTube and Facebook. And I just am so excited today that I have the privilege of connecting again from the amazing social media app called Clubhouse, none other than the lovely, anointed, powerful, thriving coach, Latoya Dotson. Hey, Latoya. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, no.
I
Oh,
didn't
there
see my
she
mic. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We have been talking about getting together for so long, and we finally made it. We finally made it.
Finally made it.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited that you're here. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, just a little bit of history about Latoya.
Okay, well, I am located in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a mom. I'm a wife of 16 years. I have three amazing sons. Um, I'm a worship leader. I actually am a breast cancer thriver, overcomer, going on 3 years now, thankfully. I am the founder director of Pink Savvy Incorporated, which is a breast cancer nonprofit organization located here in Memphis. And I am also a thriver coach. So I help women thrive through life-shifting situations, not just breast cancer, but things that occur in our lives that we have a hard time kind of just getting stuck in. I help women power through those processes.
Yes. I am grateful to even hear all of those things about you, and especially the overcoming part. Is that what your shirt says?
Yes.
Okay, it says overcomer. Okay. Well, I know we can talk about a lot of things, but I think what impacted me most when I met you was the fact that your testimony stood so strong, and that you're so young to have gone through cancer and the different things like that, and have overcome cancer. How about that? Overcome
Yes.
it in Jesus' name for the rest of your life. And so
Man.
I want to start off by, let's just tell us a little bit about your journey, and even how you found out, and then we can get into talking about how Pink Savvy came about and all of that.
Okay. Well, to be honest, Pink Savvy was established before I was diagnosed.
Wow.
Yeah, Pink Savvy was established 5 years before I was diagnosed. My mother-in-law actually was diagnosed, and I started volunteering and saw a need for more hands-on things like supplies for chemo care, financial assistance, just different things of that nature. And we started Pink Savvy Incorporated, where actually God gave it to me in a dream. I did not know it was going to be a breast cancer organization. I just left it in my journal for a while. And so that was 2 years before it launched. And then we put it into motion. Me being new to Memphis, didn't really know how I was going to establish an organization without knowing people. So I started asking coworkers, would you mind being a part of this board? And hey, we did. I just kind of moved in, what God had commissioned me to do, not knowing that 5 years into that, I would be diagnosed with breast cancer because no one in my family had history of it.
Wow. That is that. I mean, so how old were you at the time?
I was 39. when I
Okay.
was diagnosed. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a little bit what part of diagnosis did you receive?
I was diagnosed with stage 1 triple positive, which is ERPR, which is estrogen and progesterone hormonal breast cancer, which means my hormones stimulated the breast cancer, they say. And there was a HER2 protein in which the cells could multiply rapidly. So it was an aggressive form of breast cancer. I didn't feel a lump. My doctors didn't feel a lump. My body just changed. And I want to say for almost a year, I was back and forth to the emergency room because my body was just off. And
So
all
what
my
does that
blood,
mean off, Latoya? When you say off, like what were you feeling?
I was extremely tired. Nothing I did seemed to resolve me, being energetic or anything. I changed my diet for about 6 months. I started exercising every day, even at my job, because we had a gym in my job. So I would spend my lunch breaks to work out. Nothing shifted it. And so my husband was shuffling me back and forth to the emergency room. I was having scans. They would never, nothing was showing up. And it got so bad. My last visit, they literally put manic depressant on my chart. They thought that I was
Oh
losing
wow.
my mind. And I wanted to give up even trying to find out what was going on with my body. But I ended up hearing a young lady's testimony about how she allowed this very same thing that happened to me. People telling you that you're crazy, we don't see anything wrong, but your body. I knew my body, so I knew something was wrong. I started out at a cardiologist. I said that I was going to just go to every specialist there was to get an array of tests to see what was going on. And that cardiologist was extremely thorough. He gave me every test on the heart, blood test, scan, and on a heart CT scan, the tumor showed up.
So I want to ask this because I don't know much about it, but I know that at the age of 40, probably earlier now, they tell you to start going to get the mammograms, right? So by this time you're 39, had you had a mammogram?
I had had a mammogram because I actually had dense, what they call dense
That's
tissue
right.
breasts, and a lot of women, especially in African American women, have breasts with this tissue,
Mhm.
and it's hard to find breast cancer in that. By the way, caffeine actually induces breast density in the breast.
Really?
So yes. So that is one of the things that we don't know, that we're not educated on, as well as women can start getting mammogram screening at the age of 35. So
Okay.
if any of you hear that out there, take advantage of it. You can start getting your mammogram screenings at 35 years old. They
Okay.
don't tell you these things, but I work for an OBGYN and I have learned so much about women's health and what we can do that they don't tell us.
Okay. So by you being you had a mammogram at what age?
I had a mammogram at the age, I want to say 34, maybe. I think it was like 34. Everything was fine. They didn't find anything, but hey.
And I think about this, it's like you go to get your mammogram, it comes back fine, but then at the age of 39, you think, oh, I had a mammogram at 34 years old, so I really don't need another mammogram, or the doctor doesn't deem it necessary. Now, were you working for the OBGYN at the time?
I was not. I was actually working in corporate America for USPS at the
Okay.
time. But thankfully, I had, like I said, been around women that was diagnosed, but I was not having any symptoms of what they say are signs of breast cancer. But I was having pain in my chest. So that's why my first stop was the cardiologist. I thought maybe something was happening with my heart or my blood flow. But it was the tumor that was there.
So, okay, so you went to a cardiologist,
Yes.
okay, and not a mammogram wouldn't have revealed this, but it was still breast cancer.
Yes. Well, they ended up having to do a biopsy because like I said, they sent me to the cardiologist, wanted me to go get the mammogram, and he sent me straight over. But I made an appointment with my OB to get an ultrasound and to allow her to self check me. She could not feel it. They could not see it. But with the guided ultrasound and the needle biopsy, they were able to draw fluid from that said tumor, and it tested positive for breast cancer.
Wow. I can't imagine what you were thinking and your husband. Like, I'm only 39. What is really going on right now? And you
Yeah,
have 3 children.
yeah, it's like a it's like a train hitting you, because I sat there because they kept putting me back in the waiting room, pulling me back. We need to look again, back in the waiting room, pulling me back again. And so I just kind of sat there when they gave me the paper saying that I was going to have a biopsy. I think I sat there for probably like 30 minutes, like, what just happened? Because your life can change
In a moment.
so fast. I went in like, ain't nothing about to be going on up in here. Let me go get this done and it's going to be fine. And then I had to call my husband, and he didn't have words. He was just like, let me call you back, because he had to process
let
it.
it, process it.
Yeah.
So let's move forward into the victory side of things. First of all, you're a worship leader. You're anointed and appointed. Like, God, okay, now what is this about, right? I can't even imagine. But let's talk about the journey of the steps you took to say, you know what, we're gonna beat this thing.
I had moments of despair. Really, really, a few of them. For 4 months, I could not even utter the words breast cancer. And then I had to tell the people on my worship team that I had breast cancer, because I wasn't going to be able to sing. When they gave me my treatment plan, telling me that I would have to have chemo every week for 3 months, the heavy chemo, I knew that I was not going to be able to, sing. So seeing your life go from, I feel like, full to almost, your life is going to be centered around doctor visits. You are about to lose your hair. You could possibly lose your life, because at this point they're telling you have this aggressive form that multiplies dramatically over time. So you're thinking, it's consuming me at this point. What is this breast cancer doing in my body? Are these cells moving? And then they tell you have to have a total hysterectomy. You have to have all of these other surgeries. All the chemical effects that chemotherapy and breast cancer can have on your body, it consumes me, because I feel like I'm still young. I have a husband. I know women that have lost marriages from going through this process, because it takes such a toll, not on just the body, but the mind. So you really, really, I don't know how people get through things without God. Like, you really, really have to be rooted and anchored in God and trust his word and speak it over your life in order to pull through situations such as that. And I'm just thankful to him, and for leaving the word for us, because that was the only thing that pulled me through. Like, yes, my husband and my family were there, but if it had not been for the promises that God left, I could not have gotten through that process on my own at all.
How were the kids along the way? How old are the children?
My children are, I have a son that's 20. He'll be 25 in December. I have a 17-year-old son and I have a 9-year-old son. So I kind of included them in everything. I allowed them to watch me get my hair cut off, because once it started falling out, I didn't want them to see it patchy. I was like, when it started falling out, we're all going to sit here. And mom's going to be looking like y'all. Okay. I'm just getting a fade,
Oh, you got all boys.
I got all boys.
Okay.
And so I allowed them to, sit there. I asked them if they want to participate and help cut my hair off. They didn't, because they felt like they were hurting me, but they watched and they were fine with it, kissed my head and walked off. But I was very, very open, very verbal with them, and even asked if they were uncomfortable with mama being bald head, because I wanted them to communicate with me and express themselves about what it is that they felt and what they saw.
So was there a moment where, and I know you said you walked through many days of despair, and that's a struggle. And I think about that all the time, because I talk to so many people, and a hairstylist by profession, and have walked with many women who have had to deal with cancer and different things, like some lost their hair, some didn't. Is there a moment where you look at cancer in the face and say, look, you will not kill me? You know what I mean? Like, the authority that you take, you know what I mean? And I know that I have some friends right now who are thriving to survive and thriving to live,
Yeah.
who are walking this journey of cancer. Some beat it, and I think you can still beat it even if you on the other side of glory. But I'm just saying we want to live in the earth, right?
Right, right.
A little bit about that adamancy that you take as a wife, as a mom, as a worship leader, or as a woman. Like, look,
At some point, you really have to take the power that God has given you back, because we can allow things to consume us. And first of all, God created us to have dominion in the earth. So
yeah,
that means dominion over the things that
yeah,
try to come against us as well. And so there were moments that I'm a Christian, but I cussed.
okay,
There were moments that I cussed, I'm just being honest. There were moments that I cussed the devil out and the cancer itself, just because, no, you do not have this kind of power. You cannot take me out. I know the promises that God has given me. I know what he's shown me. I know what he has me commissioned to do, but my faith was tested. And I believe my faith was tested because the very thing that God purposed me to do, he allowed me to be tested with. All the times that I had encouraged these women,
yes,
you can get through this, you can thrive, you can go. How am I going to show up when it's at my front door? How am I going to propel? Am I going to still stand on the word of God when I'm facing this? Am I going to be able to, be hyped and crunk while I'm going through the process as well? Am I going to shrink back and allow what I am facing to take and consume my mind and my heart instead of focusing on the promise?
yeah,
And so once I got through that little spiral of despair, that's what I did the rest of the time. I focused on the promise, because it's a process. You really have to process. Don't let people tell you that fear is not real. Fear is a real thing. It's just that we have to put faith
yeah,
over fear, because any human is gonna have some fear if somebody tell you that you have cancer.
yeah,
But even in that, we have to stand on the promises that
yeah,
God has given us. And
yeah,
that's the only reason why I am yet standing today, because there were moments where I did not think that I was going to wake up the next day. But
yeah.
God and his promises kept me here.
Yes. Well, let's I'm just give glory to God, because I know that that's an amazing testimony, and I'm going to share if you all are watching, you all should share this with anyone that you know is a cancer thriver. And I say that whether they're currently thriving through it or they have thrived through it already. I love the word. What made you come up with, you're not a survivor, but you're a thriver? Tell us a little bit about, were you a thriver coach before?
I was not. I've been a life coach for a while, but I was actually helping women through breast cancer, like coaching them through it. But after going through the process, God kept saying, giving me thrive through it, thrive through it, thrive through it. And so that is what he wants us to do. Survival is not of him. That's barely hanging on. That's not what he put us here to do.
Yes.
And so I feel like we can all survive. We can all thrive through whatever it is we face. It's all about here. It's all about the mind. It's all about believing what God has said, because there's no way we can believe what he said and then be doubting at the same time. That's where survival comes in. Oh, I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to get through. No, baby, I'm making it. I'm getting through. I'm going where he wants me to go. And so that's what we have to proclaim. Yeah, we're going to have those moments. We are definitely going to have those moments, but we still have to remain anchored. Who God has commissioned us to be. And so a thriver is what he's commissioned me to be, and to show others that they can do it as well.
That is so wonderful. Survival is not of God. Thrive on, someone said. That's awesome. So where are you now? So this is, how many years have you been cancer free?
It's 2.5. It'll be 3 years in April of next year. And I'm thankful. I've had great scans, great lab work, all of that. Yeah, there's some, bumps in the road, because chemo does have an effect on your body. It caused major brain fog for me, which is kind of like dementia. and you have this short-term memory loss. But I was like, God, if you have work for me to do, then I'm gonna need you to fill my mouth every time I talk. Whenever I get to the point where sometimes I may stumble, I may say, and it used to make me shrink back and not want to speak, but I cannot allow those things to power over me.
Yeah.
I cannot let that power over my purpose in the earth.
So before we talk about the victory of Pink Savvy and just the things that you have going on currently, I want to understand, is there some advice you can give women that really bring out the points of what they should pay attention to? You can't live in fear, but with everything going on, how you can just skip over, oh, I'm just tired. Oh, I'm just tired. Are there things and are there things we can add to our body and along with taking away, but add to our body to make sure that we stay the healthiest that we can? Or just some tips that you could give us that you educate us. Personal education.
Well, from one, always pay attention to your body. Always, in the physical, look at it, because some of us, we get out the tub and we dry off and we ain't paid attention to anything and we just moving. Pay attention to your body. Do your breast self-examinations. Don't skip your annual visits at no doctors, because God placed them in the earth for a purpose. Yeah. And I know some of us Christians, we be like, God gonna take care of everything, but he also desires for us to use wisdom.
Yeah.
And he's given those doctors, not all of it, but some of the wisdom to help us along the way. I would say also exercise. If you can do that. Now, I've kind of slacked off a little bit and I'm getting back into it because I had some back issues, but exercise. Try to eat as healthy as possible. Like I said, caffeine is a prominent component to increasing density in the breast. Caffeine itself.
Did you stop drinking caffeine altogether?
When I was going through, I did. I stopped a lot of things. Now I do it every now and then. Okay. But ginger is great for the body. Turmeric is great for the body. It helps with inflammation in the body. Green leafy vegetables. People don't like beets, but beets are really, really good. Because it helps.
I do not like beets.
It helps with the blood count. Make sure you take your vitamin D. Make sure your folic acid levels are great. Vitamin E is good, especially if you're an older woman. When you get into your 40s and up, take that vitamin D, C, and E. All of it is good for you. So, and keep those levels checked. Sometimes we go to the doctor and stuff, and we just kind of pass over things, but keep your blood levels checked. And if something is off, find out what you can do to get them where they need to be, because all of that stuff affects. Pay attention to your hormones. Okay. If you have some hormones that are going crazy, I don't care if it's high sex drive, all of a sudden, something has imbalanced. Okay. So get those levels checked, because that's what happened with me. I didn't know. I thought I was just ready.
Your husband was like, happy. He's like, oh, happy. It was your hormones.
Yes, it was my hormones. My hormones was at a 10, and so he was like, okay, baby. But I did not know that, it was an imbalance, and it was. So keep your hormones levels checked when you get to a certain age and you notice either you're extremely tired or they're really, really high. So there's an imbalance going on right there. So just pay attention to it, and please do advocate for yourself. Okay. Like I said in the beginning, I went to a doctor for a whole year and nothing, to the point where they thought that I was losing my mind, like I was making this stuff up, and I wasn't. So if you know something is going on with your body, keep going until they find out. No, we don't want things to be going wrong, but you know your body, and advocate for your health. Got it.
Okay, and last but not least, I just would like to you to encourage people that are actually walking through the journey to a word of encouragement to live, because it could be discouraging.
It can definitely be discouraging. Know that, first of all, that you're not alone. I make sure that I cover people that are going through this process in prayer every single day, because God has commissioned me in that field. I also know that you can get through it. You can get through it. It does not have to be a death sentence, even if you're diagnosed with stage 4. But you have to believe that you can propel through the process. You have to believe that no matter what you see, no matter what you feel, you still have to believe that. I feel like I experienced most of the side effects of chemotherapy. My nails rotting off. I lost my sense of smell. My tongue turned black. I mean, I got to the point where I could barely walk. There were a lot of things that I experienced. And if I had have just looked at it, I would have just continued to sink.
Yeah.
So don't look at what you see. Think about the finish line. My mind kept going to ringing the bell. I'm going to ring this bell.
Yes.
Ring this bell, and I'm going to overcome this thing. And so keep your mind set on the goal of overcoming, powering through that process, getting through those treatments, and getting on the other side of it. Now, that's a whole nother story. So, surviving or getting through to thriving. That's another part, another set of things.
That's another workshop, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother workshop. But just know that you can do it. You can get through the process. God is for you.
Yeah.
He is for you. He is not against you. And don't think that, because a lot of times we think when things happen to us that we've done something wrong. It's merely a test of our faith, because our faith could not be built if we never experienced anything to build it.
Yeah.
So use that as a faith builder for you to overcome and conquer what the enemy means to take you down. You can get through it.
Amen. Wow. This has been so good, girl. Come on. If you guys are looking for Latoya, you can find her on all social media platforms, but you need somebody to come and encourage you. And it's not just she is a thriving coach. Come on. She's a whole lot of things, but the main thing is that she's a thriving coach, a thriver coach who is willing to get you to the next place. Women's conferences, women's ministry, speaking engagements. Come on, you all reach out to Latoya. Latoya, tell everybody where you are and what projects you have going on now.
Right now, I am getting ready to host an event next Saturday. It's called the Pink Savvy Experience, but there's going to be live music, fellowship, and we're honoring 3 amazing breast cancer thrivers that are actually doing work in the community as well, because I feel like once you've gone through that process, it's a lot to still work in the community because you see things that can trigger you. But if you can propel and still do that after you've gone through it and see everything that happens with it, it takes a lot. And so Pink Savvy's job is to honor those women that continue to trailblaze in purpose after warfare.
Propel in purpose after warfare. That is so good. PinkSavvyInc.com. You guys go to PinkSavvyInc.com. You can find Latoya and all that she has going on. This has really been awesome. Somebody said you're a faith builder. We really believe that. And I'm so grateful that God calls our paths to cross. And it's not the end. We're going to connect in person because we haven't, but we will, and we shall. Hopefully she'll come hang out, her and her hubby will hang out with us at the getaway. But anyway, until next time, thank you so much, Latoya. This was amazing.
You're welcome, Nisha. Thank you for having me. I'm big sister.
Yes, big sister, come on through. You all can follow us on YouTube. Sometimes you can't find the information, but you can go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Neeshas Network, and subscribe to Neeshasnetwork.com. You won't be disappointed. As a subscriber, there's a wealth of information and community, and you'll get to meet amazing people like Latoya. I'm just really, really grateful. Somebody said who's your mentor?
Oh, Miss Arlene. I love her. She always shows up and supports. I love her so much.
Thank you for hosting. She's one of my, yes, she is. She is a power source. And Arlene, we got to get you on Neeshas Network and get you going. So until next time, everybody, we will see you all soon. Hang tight, Latoya.
Okay.
Have a
Connecting vibe, connecting vibe, connecting vibe, connecting vibe, connecting vibe.